Hello, I think we're on. Yay! Q&A Thursday. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the 6th of July Q&A Thursday. Fantastic. Great to have you here. Listen, first things first, we'll do a bit of housekeeping. So as per normal, if you can just put that you can see and hear me in the comments in the bottom right-hand corner, that would be fantastic. So I know that you can see and hear me. I'm just going to check my technical stuff here. Make sure everything is okay. All right, so that should be okay. So yes, so if you can just let me know if you're there. Hey, Flick, excellent. Fantastic to see and hear you. Hey, Talia, great. All right, looks like we're on. Okay, all right, so we've got a great session on today. We had a great question come through the ask@teamleadertoolkit.com, which I'm going to share with you today. And I've got some really exciting news at the end, so stay with me because we've got some great stuff coming up. If you have any questions at all over the time that we're together, please just put them in the comments bar and I will get to them and we will get a solution for you here, right here and now. If I'm sounding a bit croaky and a bit husky, that's because I'm going through a cold that everybody's got at the moment, so forgive me, but we'll barrel through. And luckily it's internet, so you can't catch it from me. All right, so right now I'm going to share my screen with you. Stay with me. Live coaching, 6th of July, 2017. Very exciting. Okay, so the question that came through this month was, or this week I should say, was from Paul. And Paul had a question about how do I go about challenging the status quo. Now, Paul hasn't been in his role for very long, but he can already see that there is some improvements that he can make to some certain things, but he doesn't want to rock the boat. So the rest of his question was without sort of dire circumstances. So it's a really great question, Paul, and I think the beauty of coming from another organisation or coming from the outside into an organisation is you have that visibility. You have that visibility to see what is assumed to be the norm and maybe some areas where improvement can be made. So I think it's a great position to be in. There are some sort of rules that you need to follow with regards to bringing everybody on a journey with you, and we'll go through those and what they mean. So when we're talking about status quo, we're talking about assumptions. And assumptions is something that we take for granted or it's presupposed. So it's usually something that we've previously learned and we don't question currently in the workplace, because it might be part of their system of beliefs or it might be something that they've been doing for a very, very long time. So, you know, everybody eats lunch at the same time or, you know, all those sorts of things. Now, we make hundreds, if not thousands, of assumptions every day. And that's a good thing, because if we had to stop and think about everything that we did, we'd grind to a halt at that morning orange juice. We wouldn't get any further than that. So there is a good thing about assumptions and having a status quo, that we don't have to think too hard. But obviously that puts us in an area where we could be lacking creativity or innovation. So this is where I think your question's coming in. So if we are trying to create something new, if we are trying to create some change, we have to stop and identify the current status quo or current assumptions that we're making, and then challenge each of those to find out where we might branch off to new territory. Because what happens is status quo or assumptions, they can blind us to new possibilities because we've just always done things in that particular way. So it's a great question to ask, and hopefully by the end of this you'll have some ideas of what you can do, because it's really important to take people on a journey with you. But just to start with, I wanted to show you some examples of people in history that have challenged assumptions, challenged the status quo. So if we go to this particular slide here, Dick Fosbury, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He was a young high jumper in the early 60s. And he really had trouble mastering the standard technique, which at that time was called the straddle. So instead, he started doing the high jump by approaching the bar with his back to it, doing a modified type scissor kick and going over the bar backwards, horizontal to the ground. Now, it looked really goofy, but it worked. So it was dubbed the Fosbury Flop, who was a reporter in Oregon. But he caused a big sensation because he won the gold medal in the 1968 Olympics, jumping the height of 2.24 metres, I think it was. So the Fosbury Flop has now become the standard technique for high jumpers, but it was him that challenged the status quo. It was him that said, this is how it's always been done. Everybody's doing it the same. I need to try something different. So that's one sort of example of where it's happened in the past. Another one is Missouri Ibuka, who used to work for Sony, challenged the status quo when he brought out the Walkman, because at that stage in the 80s, remember the big boom boxes? They used to walk around on people's shoulders, the great big things, and the bigger the better, right? So he came in and he challenged that assumption by saying, you know what, I want something that people can put in their pocket and walk around with. So, and we all know that the Walkman was huge in its day. So that's somebody else that sort of challenged the status quo. If we go back even further in time, Henry Ford. So at that time, automobiles, any sort of automobiles, was only for the rich, only for the famous, and they were hand-built carriages for the wealthy. So what Henry Ford said is, no, I want to bring automobiles to the everyday person, and I'm going to do it within my time frame. So that's kind of how he challenged his own status quo at the time. My voice is going, but hopefully it'll hold out for us. Another person who did it fairly recently, more recently than Henry Ford anyway, was Anita Roddick. So she challenged the status quo because at that time, cosmetics had to be in expensive bottles and look pretty. The Body Shop, which she was the founder of, sold products in little plastic containers, and we all know how that's gone. So that's one area where she had absolutely challenged the status quo and challenged all the assumptions that were out there. Another company is IKEA. So they challenged the assumption by allowing customers to collect their furniture from a warehouse in boxes and then put it all together. You can see how that would happen and how they could, you know, at that stage that was unheard of. But IKEA came around, they were innovative, they challenged the status quo, they challenged assumptions, and that's what they came up with. All right, so how can you do this, Paul? All right, so first off, we've got to start by recognising that you and everyone else have got ingrained assumptions about every situation. And most of that is great, yeah? Most of that is what we want to do because we can't keep second-guessing every decision we make. But there are circumstances that you've obviously come across that there is an opportunity to challenge the status quo. There is an opportunity to challenge those assumptions out there. And there is an opportunity to create innovation and a different way of doing things. The second thing you want to do is ask lots of questions. So that is discovery questions to challenge those assumptions. So there might be people that have been in your business for a long, long time and they've been doing this for a long time. So it's great to, rather than go barreling in saying, right, we're going to change this, we're not going to do this like this anymore, you're going to get more buy-in, you're going to get more people with skin in the game if you take them on a journey with you. So it's really, really important to ask plenty of basic questions. So why do we do this way? When did we start doing it this way? What would happen if we did it differently? Have we done it differently in the past? You know, all those basic questions to try and get you to get more knowledge about, you know, the situation that you're looking to change. If anyone's got any insights that they want to share, feel free to come online and have a chat to us. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is we want to be able to write a bit of a list. So we want to be able to write what is the situation that we're looking at, what is the things that we want to change. So we're going to write all the ground rules, all the status quo, all the assumptions that apply for the particular situation that you're talking about. And once we've got that ground list, and you can use people to help you with this, so you can get people on the journey with you for this, so that they can, determine how they do it. And then you want to ask the questions: what would happen if we deliberately broke this rule, and what if we did the opposite to what we're doing currently? So the other thing that you can do, and I think this would be fairly easy for you, Paul, because you're actually new in the role, so you can have that outside of sort of view. But if you've been in the role for a while, it's really important to ask yourself, why do we do it this way at all? What's the reasons behind it? And that can be one of your banker questions that you ask the others that are in the team. And then make a list of all your challenges. So you've got all your assumptions, you've got the status quo, you've got why they do it. Now you want to make a list of all your challenges against those. And as we've mentioned before, make sure that you involve people with you on the journey. So get other people to brainstorm ideas with you. Take people on a journey, especially those people that have been doing this for a long time, because they're going to be, if you're going to put a change in place, they're going to be the ones that may have barriers against that change unless you take them on this journey with you, right? So make sure you use them to brainstorm some ideas with you. So let's go through a quick example. So let's say, for example, Paul, you own a bicycle manufacturing company, right? And you want to create a new product to sell. And everybody that works with you said, no, we've only ever sold bicycles. This is what we do. We don't do anything different. Okay, so you go, okay, well, I want to have a look at what else we can do. So as we've said before, what you're going to do is you're going to make a list of all the assumptions, all the things that you already know. So bicycle needs wheels, they're powered by legs, they get people from here to there, they need 2 wheels, all those sorts of things, right? You'll brainstorm all these from the people that you're working with. And there'll probably be a lot bigger list than this, but this is just to give you a bit of an example. So when you've done, you can start challenging each of those that are on the list. So for example, bicycle needs wheels. Well, hang on, does a bicycle need wheels? What about a bike if it had skis that hydroplanes on water when you pedal fast enough? Actually, I think they've got those now. Have they got those now? I think so. Anyway, so, you would challenge those assumptions. You would challenge the things that are the status quo. And then with the help of the team, with the help of the people that are brainstorming with you, you might come up with a bit of an innovative product that you could do, some work on. So, that's sort of just a bit of an example to show you, what you can do to try and challenge those assumptions. Now, with you in the workplace, what kind of things could you challenge? What kind of things that are the norm, are standard practice, that you've come in and said, you know what, I think there's a better way of doing this. It could be a process, it could be a procedure, it could be a supplier that you've always used in the past, it could be a particular practice that you guys do, it could be a product that you sell, it could be the way that you work, the way you price your products and services, the way you celebrate success, and even the way we handle mistakes. So just an example on that last one. I don't know if you've ever heard of Ben & Jerry's, they're the ice creamery people. They handle their mistakes very, very differently. So they've taken an innovative new approach to handling mistakes. And if you go onto their website, they've got lots of different flavours of ice cream that really didn't go well in the marketplace. And instead of hiding that away and squirreling it away and all that, they actually celebrate that. They embrace it. They actually have an ice cream graveyard that you can go and read all about the flavours, how long it was on the market for, and why they pulled it off the market. So they've embraced it. They've said, you know what, we made a mistake, we learned from it, this is fantastic. We don't want to forget what we've done in the past because we don't particularly want to repeat it. So therefore, we're going to embrace it. So I think that's really, really good way to sort of embrace those mistakes. Okay, so Paul, I hope you got something from that. I hope that was something that would help you. And I'd really be interested to see how you go with it. So let me know how you go. So it's Q&A time. Flick and Talia, I think you guys are the only ones on at the moment. So if you have any questions, if you've got any queries, if there's anything that you'd like to share, then please feel free to get on and share with us. In the meantime, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and come back to you guys. So, oops. I'm back. So, has anybody got any questions? You're good, Talia? Fantastic. So, Flick, have you got any questions for this week? Any thoughts, queries, anything you want to share before I start on with my news? It's a shame no one could join us today. Maybe I've pulled back too much on the emails. Maybe I need to send a few more out. Okay, all good. Okay, so I've got some news to share with you. I've got no questions, but in terms of challenging the status quo, I would say get some credit in the bank up front. Yeah, absolutely. Excuse me. Yes, absolutely. So I think that's a really good point, Flick. So if you're new to a role, it's really important not to come in barraging in with lots of changes that you want to make. Really start getting to know the place that you're working in, getting to know the people, asking all those questions, lots and lots and lots of questions, because there might be some really good reasons why people are doing things in a certain way, and you want to find that out first. But that's not to say that there isn't room for innovation or creativity if you want to challenge the status quo, or even compare something that you might be doing in the past and bring that up. Yeah, building those trusting relationships, absolutely, Flick. Great insights. So news from me. Okay, so we've got expert secret. So our last expert secret had to bail out on us because he had some issues with some family that he had to dash home for. So I've got a new expert secret lined up. I'm having the interview with them tomorrow, so we should have that online in the next week. I'm really excited about this one. She was actually someone that I was going to do about module 5 or 6 because she's got some really great insights about well-being, about positive mindset, and all this sort of stuff. But I've bumped her up a few modules so that she can have a chat to you about that. So make sure you keep your eye out for that one. I will let you know via email and on the Facebook site when that comes out. So I'm really excited that she can join us a bit earlier than she thought she was going to do. So that should be up in the next week or so. So look out for that one. For those that have started the program on the 1st of May, Module 3 will be open to you now. I think it opened last week. So hopefully you've been able to have a look through that. Happy to take any feedback that you've got. If you've got any questions, just ask at teamleadertoolkit.com. We'll get back to you straight away. So I'm really looking forward to that. And the other thing I wanted to share with you is I'm still hunting down some testimonials. So if anyone's got any testimonials for Team Leader Toolkit before we go live, that would be fantastic. I've got a couple. I'll be looking for some more. If you get something out of the weekly coaching, if you get something out of the modules, if you're getting something out of the Team Leader Tool Suite where you can get all the downloadables and the discussion planners and all the delegation tools, if that's helping you, then please let us know about it. It can be a written one if you're a bit shy of videoing yourself. Really would love a video because it's really authentic and raw. But if that doesn't make you feel comfortable, then feel free to send us a written one. That'd be fantastic. And that's kind of all the news that I had. So our expert secrets, module 3 is open, and any testimonials that might be out there. So if you've got any questions, if you've got any thoughts, insights or whatever, we'll spend the next 30 seconds just checking that I'm not going to finish before someone asks a question. But that's it from me. And Paul, hope that answered that question for you. Remember, just give us a touch base with me. Let me know how you went. Flick's got some good feedback for you there as well, that building and trusting relationships and building credibility in the team is probably going to be instrumental for you to be able to create change and to be able to take people on a journey with you. And you do that by asking lots of questions, get people to feel like they've been heard, feel like that they've had an opportunity to contribute and participate, and then, see how you go from there. All right. Excellent. Thank you for joining me, Flick and Talia. Hopefully I will see you next week. I might put an email or two out just to try and capture some people that might have missed it this week. But I won't go nuts on the emails. All right, brilliant. Thank you for being here. Look forward to catching up with you next week. And remember, watch out for the Expert Secrets webinar that should be coming out, or the interview that I'm going to be doing, which should be coming out next week. So I'm really looking forward to that. See you then. Cheers. Bye.